All right, moving into our last misconception that is a little intertwined with the last one. So, specific learning disabilities are the result of laziness. Like I said, kind of intertwined with that last one, right? I talked previously about how, like, if they just work harder, they'll be able to get it. Um, this is kind of the opposite line of thinking, but also intertwined, where this kid just fell behind so much because they're lazy in school, not because of potentially a specific learning disability. Um, Once again, this is very, very false. So, really, we don't know the exact cause of SLD. What we know is it could be through pregnancy issues, it could be through genetics, and it could be through adverse childhood trauma. However, this isn't a result of them not working hard enough in school. Um, I have a few different research basing that. All of the things I just listed were cited, obviously, other than laziness. That is not the reason that a student is diagnosed with SLD. Um, Additionally, sometimes that preconceived notion of like laziness might be because a student can't access the material that you're giving them. If they don't know how to, if they can't organize their thoughts to start a project, if they can't, are having a ton of trouble reading a content specific academic article, and they don't have those accommodations in place, and they don't get it done, yes, it can appear that maybe they're lazy. That's not true in any way, shape, or form. It's usually the root of it is not providing access to the student. Um, Additionally, if we look at some research regarding like once kids are diagnosed with SLD, right, we got to go through the evaluation process of RTI and all those things aren't working. When we put those accommodations in place, there's a ton of data out there that says um, students start to achieve more like their same age peers in the classroom. Once again, giving them that access. Okay, don't mistake the idea of um, not getting things done or not being able to finish things with this notion of being lazy when realistically we need to look intrinsically that do all of our students understand what they're doing. So kind of jump into some of the research. Or I guess let me touch on my student that I have for this example, right? It was seventh grade, just looking back at that evaluation paperwork, right? The student wasn't turning in much, could be kind of that poster child for like, oh, lazy kid, right? They go in, they try all these response to intervention, doesn't work. They go through the evaluation. We have three different categories that we're well below. So looking at that, we found the root cause, right, are these three or four specific things within the IEP. Since that student has received special education services, we're seeing work completion, we're seeing grades, we're seeing just overall academic achievement improving, just by kind of all formats, whether that's progress monitoring on grade level reading or just individual grades. So let's jump into the research. So this is some of the potential causes of learning disabilities. Like I said, we don't have a like set. It's not confirmed. There's no one reason that we know this. Like I said, the most commonly cited is either pregnancy issues or genetics or adverse childhood trauma. But like I said, we don't really have a direct correlation to it. We have theories, no set in stone reason. So moving forward, these are some of the, again, different research talking about environmental risk factors, genetic risk factors, neurological, right? Nothing in here mentions laziness, right? Um, it's a wild notion in my mind. Um, so, additionally, so this is probably my um, one of my favorite things is a lot of kids get missed, right? It's not apparent, I guess, on first glance, first conversation, talking to a kid, that a kid has a specific learning disability. So this kind of breaks down the different signs for it, and actually does kind of talk about that. The I guess signs that could come off as laziness when really it isn't access to it. So I lied, I clicked on the wrong one. This was my favorite one. So this is how students performed before and after receiving accommodations within their special education services for specific learning disabilities. Like I said, throughout that research, just to summarize it, students achieved at a higher level once they did receive those services, right? So choosing appropriate accommodations and giving students access really impacted that motivation and outcomes for students. So, right, at first glance, it might be motivation, but we got to dig deeper beyond that, where we need to really make sure the kids know what they're doing. And in a lot of cases, these kids do want to do well, and sometimes they do fall under the radar because they actually have worked harder than the other kids to stay near that grade level, and kind of fly under the radar with that stuff. So, misconception 5, specific learning disabilities aren't a result of laziness or not paying attention or not turning in assignments or anything regarding that. It is, in fact, usually students, I guess a misconception of seeing them as lazy is often because they don't have access.